On this episode of Take One, cacti, social media outages, and a proposed smart city. Also, the mainline dance team and vaccines in Alaska.
And just for laughs, cars with eyelashes, a Tesla hack, and a flashback of quarantine. These stories and more up next on Take One.
Welcome to Take One. Thank you for joining us. I'm Emma Richardson.
And I'm Ben Luca.
New Zealand has some of the strictest biosecurity laws in the world to keep the island nation's agriculture and biodiversity. As a result, the country is relatively free of invasive pests and diseases. But in 2019, a woman was caught on 2 separate occasions trying to smuggle plants from China into New Zealand. In March of that year, she was caught with almost 1,000 small bags of succulents and cacti, 8 of which were endangered, hidden on her body. This was all valued to be over $10,000. After attracting the attention of a detector dog, she attempted to dispose of some of the items in the airport toilets. Just several months later in July, she was caught again, this time in possession of almost 200 packages of seeds concealed in her luggage. But only recently, her punishment was decided. This woman will have to be intensely supervised for a year and do over 100 hours of community service. The investigations team said that they hope that this case provides a good precedent. Anyone attempting to smuggle plants or other endangered species into New Zealand will be criminally prosecuted.
This past Friday, 4 of the most used social media platforms on the internet were offline for close to an hour across the world. Instagram, Facebook, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp all went down around 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All posts, messages, and stories were replaced with a circular rotating arrow. Facebook hasn't given any detail about what happened yet. However, they have confirmed the shortage happened. Thanks. While the 4 platforms were down, Twitter was flooded with jokes and memes about the outrage. A user named Jimbo tweeted this picture with the caption, "Me checking Twitter every 2 seconds thinking it's my internet, hashtag Instagram down." Just goes to show how much social media runs our lives. Now, let's send it to Jenna at the business building.
Thanks, Ben. The Boise State Mainline Dance Team is heading to Daytona, Florida, April 7th to compete at the NDA National Dance Competition. The Broncos will be competing in the D1A jazz and hip hop categories. Mainline used to go to Daytona in the 1990s and actually won in 1993. They then returned in 2019 and scored 7th in jazz and 4th in hip hop. Due to COVID reasons, the competition was canceled last year, but Mainline will be returning this year to place even higher at the collegiate national level. So as always, go Broncos. Now, back to Madeline in the Spec Studio.
Thanks, Jenna. One company in Nevada is looking to establish their own government. No, this isn't the plot of some dystopian thriller movie. It's an idea being proposed by a technology firm in Carson City. They want the state to allow companies like theirs to form local governments on land they own, giving them power over everything from schools to law enforcement. So it's not the plot of a dystopian thriller just yet. They would call these company-owned cities innovation zones and would use smart technology to keep track of residents' online footprints. Supporters say this would get rid of the middleman between people and ideas. However, those who oppose the plan say this is just another example of massive companies being given too much power. Just about last year, we were all trying to figure out how to function during quarantine. Our classes were being moved to Zoom, our jobs were either shut down or moved to our homes. It was all a mess. Let's reminisce our struggles during quarantine with Taos Culp.
Millions of people around the globe are staying indoors while we all collectively wait out the COVID-19 epidemic. But what will happen when people are stuck inside with their families for an undetermined amount of time? I'm Taos Culp, and I'm going to document the effects of home quarantine right here on this edition of What to Know. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Jensen household. Today is Monday, March 16th, which marks the first day of Idaho's stay-at-home order. As of today, all of Boise State's classes have transferred online, the Boise School District has closed all of its doors, and both of my parents are currently working from home. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, and as if this global pandemic wasn't enough, Idaho was hit by an earthquake yesterday. I guess even Mother Nature is starting to get restless. Now, luckily, no one in the house was hurt, except for poor PlayStation. A power outage caused by the earthquake fried her hard drive, and we buried her out back the other day. She was a good lass, always there when I needed her most. Rest in peace, PlayStation. You will be missed. Hello all. Today is... I don't actually know what today is. You see, my brain has been a little foggy since this whole earthquake thing went down, and I have not been getting much sleep. You see, every time I try to go to bed, I'm haunted by visions of the PlayStation.
Come play with me, Toads.
She cries out, but every time I reach for the controller, she just disappears. Also, it seems like everybody in the house is out to irritate me lately. The cacophony of keyboards being slammed into desks pierces my brain like an arrow to the dome. And the sound of my little brother shrieking is enough to enrage me these days. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Hello everyone. Today is April 8th, which marks a week since the PlayStation has passed away. Much has remained the same in the time since. My parents are still working, my brother is still annoying, and the voices inside my head have steadily grown louder. I've been doing great without the escapism of video games, and I'm still as sane and mentally stable as ever. I'm Taos Culp, and this has been What to Know about Home Quarantine.
Madeline, I feel like there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened during quarantine.
Definitely.
I think one of the things I saw, at least in California, was a lot of people were putting eyelashes on their cars.
Yeah, there were so many cars with that. Yeah, it's fun.
Would you do that?
I think it's fun for people to do, but I don't think it fits my car's personality.
Yeah.
So, how about you? Would you?
I've got like this big boxy SUV, just like, I think it just wouldn't fit
Not
with
quite,
that. It's
yeah.
not feminine enough.
Yeah. But I mean, to each their own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. People love to personify and personalize their vehicles by giving their cars names and lots of praise when they do well, such as when they get through that light right before it turns red, or when they're able to do a swift U-turn before oncoming traffic gets in their way. Whether someone is just using their car as a mode to get from point A to point B, or they take the cars for shows or competitions, people spend a lot of time in their vehicles. So it begs the question, what's the deal with car eyelashes? What goes through someone's mind when they decide, today I'm gonna get my car some lashes? Do people think it makes their cars prettier? Are they only putting it on ironically? Is there an impact to how well the car drives before versus after the false lash application? What if you're driving in the rain and an eyelash falls off and it looks like your car just left a party where they got a little too tipsy? And what happens when bugs or other animals get caught in between the bristles of each individual lash? Ugh, sounds awful to clean. You've heard that people look like their dogs. I wonder how many people who apply falsies to their headlights do the same to their own faces. Originally, we had Ben in the studio, but now in the spec, he's gonna be spicing things up in the 360 as University. I'm sorry, excuse me. He was in the spec, and now he's in the 360 studio. Go to Ben.
Thanks, Michaela.
Oh my God.
As you're probably well aware, Tesla has these cars that can drive on their own. No humans needed. Truly a technological wonder. Well, apparently even modern-day miracles have their flaws. Sometime last month, it was reported that 2 hackers stuck a 2-inch piece of black tape onto a 35-mile-per-hour sign, which made the sign look like it said 85 miles per hour. Now this hack, successfully tricked 2 Tesla cars into accelerating to 85 miles per hour. Well, just because this prank involved 2 Teslas, it automatically qualifies as a hack. Nobody hacked anything. All right, they put a piece of tape on a sign. If that's considered hacking, then I deserve a degree in computer science for putting a sticker on my laptop. Anyway, the culprits of this technological tirade are still at large, but police say all right. I'm gonna run that back a little bit, excuse me. Police say they have a prime suspect now, Wile E. Coyote. I mean, seriously, what kind of Looney Tunes hijinks is this? What's next? Is somebody gonna paint a tunnel on a wall? Maybe instead of driving your new Tesla, test driving your new Tesla, rather, you should just show it some old cartoons, just in case. I mean, the last thing you want is for a piano to fall from the sky and your Tesla not know what to do. Now, I'm going to send it all over to Ryan for his Would You Rather questions over at the business building.
Thanks, Ben. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 4 of Would You Rather. Unfortunately, I don't have anyone to ask questions today. So, wait a minute, folks. That's the mainline dance girl. Jenna, how you doing today?
Good, thanks for having me on.
It's always a pleasure, yeah, of course. So here we go, folks. Meant to be. First question. Would you rather be locked in a room for 8 hours with Nathan Snyder ranting about Idaho traffic laws or Texans coming to Idaho?
Both sound like a bad idea, so is neither a good option?
You gotta pick one, Jenna.
Probably the one about Texans then.
Why?
We learned about Idaho pedestrians not having the right of way today, and that was pretty miserable.
We did. We did learn about that. Okay. Final question. Would you rather never be on the internet again or never watch TV ever again?
Great question, Ryan. Probably never be on the internet again.
Why?
Because The Bachelor means too much to me.
It's a very respectable answer. I cannot argue with any of those. Well, there you have it, folks. That's episode 4 of Would You Rather. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Ryan. Personally, I would rather use the internet because, I mean, the internet has everything, you know? Anyway, since Boise area has seen unprecedented growth over the last decade, there's a chance that a healthy portion of our viewers have only been in the Treasure Valley for only a few years. So, with that in mind, let's roll back the clock and take a look at what things were like before our little corner of the desert turned into a giant game of musical chairs. First off, would you believe that we used to have summers where Highway 21 didn't turn into a parade every weekend? You could actually drive to wherever you wanted, camp for a couple days, and come back while only seeing a handful of people. Even crazier than that, there was once a time when Table Rock didn't have entire neighborhoods creeping up halfway up the side of it, which, for the record, have been known to slide back down the hill from time to time. Seriously, look it up. Now, before we start worrying about some xenophobic mob of native Idahoans, and whether or not they're going to yell at you to go back to where you came from, just know that they're not all like that. Right now, they're way too busy trying to pay their skyrocketing rent and property taxes to be concerned with any of that rioting nonsense.
Wait a second, Ben. Aren't you literally from California?
Yes, I am.
So you do know you are part of this problem, right?
I am a little bit aware of that. I kind of, noticed that while I was reading and thought, my goodness.
Californians are such hypocrites. Ugh.
That's the word.
But with all you out-of-towners taking over our city, you might not know what our campus has to offer. Joe Dyer tells us more about the Student Union building here at Boise State.
The Student Union building is one of the largest and most used buildings on campus. It has restaurants, the game center, and a ton of other student resources. With so many different services available, you may be wondering, what is a student union? I'm Joe Dyer with what to know about the Student Union at Boise State. A student union is the physical extension of the student government. At Boise State, our student government is known as the ASBSU, the Associated Students of Boise State University. ASBSU works with the administration of Boise State to develop and fund programs and services for the student body, which are housed in the Student Union building. According to boisestate.edu, the Boise State University Student Union is a multi-million-dollar facility that provides a wide range of services and programs to meet and anticipate the needs of our diverse student body, faculty, staff, and community members. That's why you find services like the Game Center, the Gender Equity Center, and the Student Involvement and Leadership Center in the sub. The Student Union serves as a home for all of the services designed for students by students. To get more information on the Student Union and services it provides, check out sub.boisestate.edu. I'm Joe Dyer with What to Know at Boise State.
Thanks for that information, Joe. Fun fact, the Communications Building was originally built in the 1940s to serve as a student union building. It is now home to the Department of Communication and Media. Also, it is where the 360 studio is located. If you've never been inside, just know that it's tiny. This past week, Alaska became the first state to drop the eligibility requirements for the COVID-19 vaccines. Now, anyone over the age of 16 can receive it, provided that they live or work in the state. The Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines are available to those 18 and older, while the Pfizer vaccine is accessible to those 16 and over. However, all three of these vaccines have already been connected to the prevention of severe cases of COVID-19 and to less hospitalizations and death. The Alaskan governor is very optimistic, predicting that by vaccinating all citizens of the state, the economy and business within it will thrive. Some regions are already reporting a 90% vaccination rate among the elderly. Meanwhile, in Idaho, the current distribution plan is to have the vaccines available to everyone by April 26. This fits perfectly in line with President Joe Biden's goal of widespread availability by May 1st.
There are many benefits to eating a plant-based diet, like keeping a healthy body or reducing the impacts of climate change. But there are also drawbacks, like being unable to eat chocolate. This makes it difficult to get on board for some. However, Nestle may change that soon. They're releasing what they call Kitkat B, a vegan Kitkat bar. The company has already released some plant-based alternatives to dairy using rice, oat, soy, pea, and almonds in the past. As for what exactly this new candy is made of, that's still unclear. Nestle promises the perfect balance between crispy wafer and smooth chocolate in this recipe. It will be certified vegan and made with 100% sustainable cocoa. Coming from someone who lives a plant-based lifestyle, I cannot wait to get my hands on these Kit Kats. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Emma Richardson.
And I'm Ben Luca. Thanks to the crew and writers for this episode. From all of us here, we'll see you next time on Take One.